A pleasure to have you here.
Yeah.
Before this, we're talking about the reason why you started podcasting.
Yes. The reason I started podcasting, ultimately it's kind of selfish, the reason.
Yeah.
I was running software business at the time and ended up in the Philippines actually at a small conference, like 25 people. And there was some really smart podcasters there. And I was kind of stuck in this. I had this business, I got to travel with the laptop and the family, but I kind of wanted to get out there more, build sort of an audience.
Yeah.
And I hadn't done that, and so they were all like, dude, you got to start a podcast. And I was like, dudes, I've never interviewed anybody, and I can't speak into a microphone. So about 3 months later, I was out at the cottage and one weekend, and I actually was rereading Gary Vaynerchuk's Crush It. Just mindless reading on the dock, right? And I was like, screw it, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
Went home Monday, sent out some emails. On Thursday, I did my first interviews. All summer, I spent 2 months doing it. And I was like, I got 30 people that I just really want to talk to. I just wrote them all down. And so I went for it. And I figured that was for September, I was going to launch 2014, yeah. And I figured within 2 months, those 30 episodes would come out, and I just go back to software. But after that 2 months, it kind of took on a life of its own. Kind of got that spark, and I was like, I'm just going to go all in.
So when was it during the process that you realized, holy fuck, there's something to this? Or like, wow, I have momentum.
So I launched September 5th, 2014. And the first month, I was like, I got 2,700 downloads. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. 2,700 downloads, right? And then the next month I got 27,000 downloads.
Wow.
And I was like, okay. Wow. And like at the end of that month, 3 companies all reached out to me to sponsor the show.
Yeah.
And I was like, interesting. So that was kind of it, man. There's like just this feeling that I'm going to either go for it now and try it or else I'm just going to like wonder, like, where can I push that to?
Yeah.
So I decided, okay, I'm going to spend a year focusing on, now it's been 2 years, but, and I wanted to just see where it would go.
And now you have hundreds of thousands of downloads every month.
Yeah. And it's led me to
so many different opportunities.
Yeah. Basically everything I do.
So what did you do? If you can rewind and kind of like look at the maybe top 3 things that you did that really moved the needle, what would those 3 things be?
The first one was when I spent that 2 months. I didn't even have a name or anything at that point, but I really wanted like a show that kept people listening all the way through.
Okay.
And I wanted something that would kind of interest me. So I wasn't any good at interviewing at the time. So I put in what's called the hack. So I could do like a essay sort of thing at the end for 1 to 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So it kept me involved in it, and it kept people listening all the way through, and it gave people an engagement point. So I still, to this day, get emails from people like arguing with me, like, "Oh, that wasn't the hack. This is the hack." And I'm like, "That's perfect." So that was something to me that was like old school radio. I was thinking. I put some sound effects in and kind of worked it. But then the biggest one I would say is that I treated it like a product. So at the time, there was no podcast in the entrepreneurship space, at least like no big ones that were talking mindset. It was all tactics, right? Like how to do this, 7 steps to this. Perfect, awesome. I love the shows. But there was this gap. Like I just sort of analyzed the market, and there was this gap of like just trying to figure out the mindset of an entrepreneur, like how people think, how they decide on new projects. And so I just decided to fill that gap. It was literally what I wanted to do, like a product, right? I mean, there's always room within a marketplace. If you find that gap and you can fill it right, then you have an audience, right? You have customers. So I would say that those are the 2 things. And then the other one is just the whole Seth Godin, the dip thing. Like things were going great, like the first 4 months to 5 months. And then it just like, boom. and it wasn't that it tanked almost, but it like all of a sudden from this to just like, and I just stopped looking at numbers, and I just kept my head down. And that's where most people stop, right? That's it. It's like, oh, it's over. But then push through, then all of a sudden, boom, like 3 times the size. And it's like, oh, Seth Godin, you're not lying. It really is the dip. And that's where we lose most people. And the harder that dip is, the bigger the reward is on the other side, right? So really it's just kind of pay attention to numbers until they stop giving you what you want. And I think in podcasting, then you have to just keep going. You know in your gut, or you should know in your gut at this point, that what you're creating is something useful and valuable to enough people, you just got to get through it. Because that's where you'll lose most competitors.
Totally. And I think a lot of people give up way too early.
Yeah, I mean, I spend time now teaching like hundreds of podcasters how to podcast. And so many times people are getting frustrated with me. And then I look and it's like, dude, you're on episode 17. Like I'm on like episode 300 of Hack the Entrepreneur, and like we're almost about to hit 100 on Showrunner. Yeah. It's like, dude, you're nowhere near where like you should be even getting close to frustrated. You're still trying to figure out how to do this thing. Never mind, like, oh, it's all over. I'll never be able to do this. Like, well, no, man. So I think you're right.
Did you do any like outreach? So you mentioned, you know, obviously more production and kind of doing from like a radio angle, right? Number 2 is obviously don't give up, just consistency. Would you say you had any strategies for kind of outreach? Like once the podcast was published, did you email people? Did you use social media, email marketing?
So I actually didn't even start building an email list until November. So 3 months into it for some reason, I was just focused on the show. And I didn't think it was going to go long term. So I was like, I'm not going to bother collecting emails and then just ignore it, right? So I didn't do that, but I did focus on the guests that I had picked to be the first 30. I didn't necessarily have like a personal relationship with them, but I did, like I'd followed them. I'd followed their businesses for years. So there was kind of a connection there. Each of those guests got like a personal 2-minute video from me. Like that's how I kind of introduced myself via email. I gave myself one take. And so there was kind of a connection there. And then I would follow up, obviously, when the episode went live. And lots of them shared it, which got the word out, which I don't really do as much anymore. But that was huge at the beginning. And then it was really, like it was November, I think I got offered to start writing for Entrepreneur. It was 2 months later that Copy Blogger Media then asked me to start writing and working with them. So those kind of things, those were what really then set it off.
You position yourself on other people's platforms.
And those platforms then came back to me.
But the only reason you got on those other people's platforms, you created your own platform.
Yeah, both those platforms I just mentioned, Copy Blogger and Entrepreneur, were both guests on my show. That as soon as the interview was done, they were just like, "Do you want to write for us? Do you want to work with us? Do you want like yeah. That's it, man. That's literally it. Like because of the show and because of having them on, and because of having some sort of like making a connection in that 30-minute interview."
Well, you said something pretty interesting at the beginning where you're looking at that opportunity. When you started, not too many podcasts were talking about the mindset of an entrepreneur, kind of really digging in deep on what makes them who they are. But right now it's saturated. Like, you know, every fucking person's uncle and aunt wants to start a podcast, and there's millions of podcasts out there, and truthfully, the majority of them fucking suck. I don't listen to 99% of them. What advice would you have for somebody who is actually considering starting a new podcast right now? Forget the marketing, but just from the get-go, like, you know, maybe a couple of questions they can ask themselves. Should they even start a podcast?
Yeah, totally. You're right. Most of them suck. Most of anything sucks, though, right? I mean, most popular music
That's
sucks.
Right.
You shouldn't not pick up a guitar ever again. I think you should figure out why you want to do it. You have to want to do it for more reasons than I just want to get popular, or because it's not enough to push you through those dips. I'm at episode 300 now. That's not enough, right? You have to also be willing to. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme by any means. It's not even a get-rich scheme. So you have to really be willing to, I'm going to say 100 episodes, so depending on the frequency, but don't get started if you're not willing to go at least to there, because you're not going to know anything until then. And so it's this whole idea, like, oh, I could do it, and within like 3 weeks or something, I'll be popular. It's like, no, it's not going to happen, right? So you really have to be into it, like for the right reasons. You have to be willing to really try for a long enough time to figure out how you podcast best, like what your voice is, all those kinds of things, what your audience needs from you. And then I guess you would have to really like be willing to find a way to monetize. But know that monetizing is not usually the direct monetization of sponsorships. It's usually indirect monetization through podcasts. So if you already have a business, or if you like have a site or something that you just need more people to, it's probably in a perfect way
For distribution.
Exactly, just to bring more people back. So if you already have that set up, like if you don't have anything, and you're just like, I want my first thing to go, I wouldn't suggest a podcast because you need something behind it.
You do need something behind it,
because sponsorships are good, but they don't pay enough, and they're hard to get at first. They really are, especially these days.
And there's a lot of products that they want us. Like for example, I have this YouTube channel. A lot of companies approach me. I'm like, fuck off.
Yeah,
I don't like your product.
Right.
I don't want to be sponsored by anybody.
Exactly.
I always bring up the case study of Tim Ferriss, and there's, for example, a lot of companies advertise on his podcast.
Right.
And there is such a thing as a Tim Ferriss effect. Like the amount of traffic, the amount of, not just traffic, but trusted traffic.
Yeah.
It's like me saying, hey, John, go get that.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to be like, oh, let me go do my research. And like, Ameer told him to go get it, and I trust him.
Yeah.
So that's the power of podcasting when done right.
Yeah.
When you put your focus on it, when you really focus on a niche, and when you consistently put out top quality content.
Yeah.
I remember when was it? Like, fuck, when was it? It was, I think, 2 months ago. You and I were talking about. You mentioned that one cool guest you had on, the one that left impact. It was like an older lady from the UK.
Yeah. Dame Stephanie Shirley.
Yeah.
Brilliant lady. I think she's 86 or 87 or 88 or something now. She started a software company in the 1960s.
Yeah.
And only hired women.
It's amazing.
Literally was punch card software.
Yeah.
And she changed her name to Steve because nobody would hire her as a Shirley. So she changed her name to Steve. So Steve now owned this company.
Wow.
And business boomed. It turned in she ended up selling for several $100 million back in the 90s.
Wow.
But yeah, brilliant lady. Like she literally I think she was 7 or 5, and she got sent on the Kinder Transport, it was called, evading the Nazis. And she got sent with her sister without her parents to London and lived with another family. Didn't see her parents for 20 years or something after that. And she decided that she was going to live a life worth saving, was her thing. And she just created these crazy businesses. She's still working. When I talked to her last year, she was running 3 charity companies, and she's like, when I get old, I'll just go for lunch with the ladies at the country club. And I was like, you're 86 years old. So
fucking gangster chick.
Yeah, man, she's amazing. Yeah. She did a TED Talk last year too.
Yeah.
You can find it. It's brilliant. Yeah, smart lady.
Any other guests that kind of really left impact on you?
There's been so many, man. So I would say Dame Stephanie Shirley was really cool. Brian Tracy was really fun. And Brian Tracy, I'd read some of his stuff.
Yeah.
And it didn't have as much of an impact on me when I read it, but when I talked to him, he was just so... I was expecting... Sometimes you get a guest and you're expecting it to be more like they're putting on a show kind of thing.
Yeah, show their mask, right?
Yeah. But he was just in his office, just a chaos around him, and he just laid it all out for me.
Yeah.
It was like, this is awesome. You just finished the interview and just wow, that was so awesome. So
what are some takeaways, or your number one takeaway from Brian Tracy?
His was that we all start out as employees, which was kind of an interesting take on the entrepreneurship thing, right? Because now entrepreneurship's so hot, right? Everybody wants to be an entrepreneur and everything. And so his thing was, we all start as employees. And that can even be within your own company if you're young and starting a company, but you have to think you have to know every aspect of your business, right? You can't just be top level all the time looking down. So to me, that was wow, I didn't expect you to say that. And so it was cool, and we had a discussion.
It kind of reminds me of the Sam Walton story where he was arrested in Brazil. Hear about that story?
No.
So he flew down to Brazil to see one of these most successful retail chains. This is when just Walmart was taking off. And, if you view Sam Walton, you can say he's kind of OCD'd, right? He went down there with a measuring tape, and mind you, the guy's in his late 60s, right? I want to say just taking off. Walmart had momentum, not just taking off, had fucking momentum at that time. He went down to Brazil, and just imagine this, you're the store owner of this place, you see this old weird creepo on the ground measuring your fucking aisles. Right, you're like, what the fuck?
What are you doing?
Yeah, so they call the cops, they arrest him, right? And afterwards they find out, this is fucking Sam Walton, the owner of Walmart, and they release him. And Sam Walton's like, I went down there because I found out, and I'm just paraphrasing, like they had more efficient aisles, the spacing was proper. He wanted to know how to optimize every fucking square inch of Walmart. And this is a guy at that time probably worth maybe $1 billion.
Yeah.
Going down there by himself, and you mentioned employee, measuring the fucking aisle.
Yeah, there's really something to be said for having that mindset where you're not above anything yet in your company. I really, really I like that. I appreciate that, and that's an example. How come stores were so terribly laid out before? I went to the Bay.
The Bay,
up on Yonge. The old one. It's terrible. You can't even friggin' find the escalator.
Yeah.
Like it's like literally hidden in a wall.
You know who has crazy store layouts and is like Jedi mind shit? IKEA.
Yeah.
Fucking place is like a mousetrap. Like for you to exit, you must follow this path.
Yep.
And it's so strategically placed for upsells and cross-sells and
just
downsells.
Keep filling stuff.
It's fucking insane. By the time you're at the cash register, the prices decrease because you start with most expensive. So there's price contrast.
I know.
Like, oh shit, that thing's like $800. I'm not spending. And by the time you're at the cash register, oh, that thing's $5. Sure, no problem.
Brilliant.
Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, it's like real life sales funnels.
Real life sales funnel.
And everything's being A/B tested. Like you wouldn't believe.
It's insane. They did a crazy marketing campaign about a month ago where certain locations of IKEA, once you entered IKEA, it was actually shaped as debris and how a person's living in Syria right now.
Wow.
Yeah, so you walk in like, yo, this place is fucked.
Yeah.
Like cement on the ground, the building falling apart. Like this is the conditions people are living right now in Syria. So you're having all this like physical experience, tangible experience, and all these emotions running over you. And they wanted to show you exactly like, yo, this is the fucking conditions people are living in right now. And obviously that was tied towards a charity and a fund helping people in Syria.
Wow.
Brilliant marketing.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
I had no idea.
So this is where I kind of like applause proper marketing done for a good cause.
Yeah.
And marketing is really powerful, but yeah, you're right, man. There's certain people who really understand marketing and psychology, and obviously maybe Bay's not one of them.
Well, not originally, right? Like I mean, that's probably was built in the 70s or something, and so I don't think they took psychology so much into the fact of people shopping, right?
Yeah.
Just like, well, put things on sale and make it so they can see the clothes.
Yeah.
Now it's just beyond, like, so much further than that, right? With scents and smells and sounds.
Yeah, there's a whole science behind
Yeah.
that. Where do you think marketing's going, man, in the next couple of years? Because we got AR, we got VR, we have all these different new mediums appearing in front of us, and I think it's going to be quite interesting in the next couple of years where marketing goes.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously gotten way more personal.
Yeah.
The data and information we have. I think companies are going to get smarter with how they use that.
Yeah.
We'll have less of this blanket approach to just put up billboards and that kind of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's interesting, and I don't have a deep enough understanding of like bots and these kind of things. Like,
Sure.
I don't know. Like, what is that going to do for marketing? Where's that going?
Well, I see bots and AI having a merger together. You already see bots that have programmed AI intelligence.
Right.
So it's not real AI, but it's programmed AI. Kind of like deep learning algorithms, for example, IBM Tensor. I think it's going to be kind of eerie what's happening in the future. For example, Adobe just launched their voice recognition software where you can speak into their software for 20 minutes and they can manipulate your voice to whatever they want. So now if John speaks into his Adobe software, I can take John's voice and do anything I want with it.
Wow.
So that's some fucking minority shit right there. I believe in the future more and more we're going to be bombarded with advertising from VR. You'll see, for example, I was just talking to the VR porn CEO the other day because they're into cryptocurrency and Bitcoin. And massive company, fucking enormous company. And they're already like, it's huge. Like people right now are getting plugged into VR, whether it's porn or whatever. People are paying with cryptocurrency such as Bitcoin around the world and getting like instant gratification to whatever they want. That wasn't possible 5 years ago. Mm-hmm. You know, so I think going in the future, a lot of people, I think education's needed more to understand what's happening to you. Like you're going to see these chatbots that have AI. You may not even realize it's not a human that you're talking to. More and more people getting glued to their phones is like our master right now. And just wait a couple of years where people have these headsets walking around. Then you have augmented reality, virtual reality. So I think, you know, I'm a big believer in. I'm a huge optimist. The future is brighter and brighter. We live in abundant time.
Yeah.
But I'm also a firm believer in preparing for the worst, hoping for the best kind of idea. So, I actually kind of fear where technology is going because technology innately is not good or bad.
Right.
It's technology is technology. It's how you use it. I really believe that human beings are becoming a slave to it. And there's some studies to back this up where they're saying human population, generally speaking, around the world, the IQ is decreasing. Mm-hmm. People's ability to become more creative and actually use their cognition to solve real problems is decreasing because we're becoming more passive.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I'm watching YouTube. And like I said, at the end of the day, it's still, this is innate. It's not good or bad. It's up to you how you use it. Mm-hmm. But for people actually sitting down and giving a time out for their brain to take a break from all this stuff, I think that's going to become more and more important. You mentioned Gary Vee a second ago. Gary Vee said at Mastermind Talks, the next big industry is meditation. So meditation for me is everything. Meditation is like, I can group that into the next big industry is fucking owning your space.
Yeah, so that like advertisers can't get in, or companies, or anybody. Or...
Well, no, it's not just that. But what I mean by owning your space, owning your mind. So, for example, I'm gonna buy meditation apps to help me control my emotions.
See, that thing to me, meditation apps to
Yes.
me are like it's the one thing in this world you don't need an app for.
It depends on the person.
You need nothing. You literally need, I don't even know how an industry is created around meditation.
Well, I'll tell you what it is. I think our definition of meditation is off. Because for me, I don't sit down with any app and go hum-diddly-yum. Right? My meditation is I walk right here. Yeah. I walk for an hour, no music, no nothing. I just walk and let my brain do what it has to do. My second form of meditation, I have 3 forms of meditation. My second form of meditation is I do the Wim Hof breathing. 10 minutes a day, like the hyperventilation. And the third, I like fighting, like sparring. So that's my meditation. However, what's good about the app for some people, I think this is really applicable to people who have OCD or who are very detail oriented, it gives you biofeedback. Okay. Like it's like, okay, alpha wave, delta wave, theta wave. So if I do this, like for example with Amuse or some of these other apps, once you get into that flow state, so let's say you're in a nice, whatever flow state is, maybe it's beta, I'm not too sure the levels of flow state, but once you're in this flow state, we know this is a rhythm. Then as soon as your rhythm goes off, it sends you like a small, like this. Like, oh, John, your rhythm's off.
Right, but you kind of know that. You kind of know when you're...
I think...
I mean, I see why there's an industry around it because people buy it. And people need feedback on everything.
They need feedback.
Like, they literally just need to know that they're accomplishing something when you're really... The whole point is to accomplish nothing while meditating.
That's right.
It's something that, I don't know, always makes me chuckle.
For me, like, I even go to the
I mean, Muse is a whole different thing. I just mean like an app on your phone that's like 10 minutes and it's like...
Well, there's one good app that I like. Jason Calacanis, he invested in it. It's Calm. Calm.com. CALM.com. Yeah. It's guided meditation, but a little bit different. So, for example, I'll put on a 20-minute session, lie down. It's not hum done. I'm fucking taking a power nap, right? Yeah. So I lie down, but it's like just scanning your body. It's like, how does your head feel right now? How does your chest feel right now? How does your stomach? How does your leg? So it's kind of like just internal scan as opposed to like, none of that fucking shit. Right, it's like literally a power nap. Then I wake up after 20 minutes because of a nice bell. And I'm like recharged, right? Yeah. So I think there's a time and place. Once again, it's a tool. It's up to you to figure out how you want to use it. But going back to the original thing, talking about marketing, man, I think we're in for the craziest fucking shit ever in the next decade.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that that's happened in the last decade. Yeah. It's gotten to where we couldn't have imagined it 10 years ago. It's going to just continue on even further. And I guess obviously privacy is going to become...
Massive, man.
That's, massive. I mean, what's going on in the UK right now?
It's the most fucking totalitarian law that I've ever seen put into place.
It's unbelievable. I can't even believe it just went through.
No subpoena necessary. No nothing necessary. If we want to go into your data, we can at our own whim.
Like anything.
Anything.
Your ISP has to record every single thing you do for a year.
Everything.
And a cop can I just need to see his
email. No subpoena. No warrant. No fucking nothing.
Unbelievable.
That's like Nazi Germany.
Yeah. Yeah. And, yeah. I can't. It almost felt like, is this the Onion I'm reading? Because this doesn't make any sense.
It's the most fucked up law that I've seen pass, and you're right, it went like this.
So how many, like, what percentage of people are going to take that serious and like VPN out or
1%, man.
Yeah.
The general population, and a great book to read is by Dr. Merlot, Rape of the Mind, written in 1956. Read anything by Edward Bernays, his book Propaganda. At the end of the day, what people want is comfort. People are on this hedonic treadmill of comfort. That's all they care about. And they'll easily give up all their freedoms, easily give up all their securities. So Big Brother, which is the government, can protect you. And it's kind of crazy when you think about it. You're entrusting an organization that you have no fucking idea who runs it. They're very cynical. They're very nefarious. And you're trusting them with all your information on everything. And people are like, oh, I don't care. Well, tell you what, there's laws right now in Canada. They're in legislation. They're trying to get it passed. Right now, it got passed in the UK, where if you say something in the past, right? You say something in the past online, right? And this is the whole thing with Edward Snowden that came out 3 years ago with NSA.
Right.
So if you said something in the fucking past, a keyword or something like that, in your email, online, on Twitter, on Facebook, they use that against you. That's some fucked up shit.
Yeah. And especially because you can say you trust the people in power in your country right now.
Yeah.
But that changes every couple of years. And then all of a sudden somebody else can get in power that you completely do not trust. And yet they still have all your data.
Yeah.
I
got some just basic things for people. Get a VPN. Anyone can set it up. It takes 2 seconds. It costs you like $20 a year.
Yeah.
A fucking year. So get that. You can get a VPN for your landline at home.
Yep.
You can get a VPN for your cell phone. So 2 VPNs. Second of all, learn about Onion and the Tor networks.
Right.
So Onion is a browser that works on this Tor network. Tor was created also by the military, maybe DARPA as well, where it does relays around the world. Okay, you can also have an Onion and Tor browser on your cell phone. Not Apple though, only Androids and open source platforms. Okay, so you can have that on your phone. You can use a great messaging app. It's like $3. It's fucking amazing, called Signal.
Oh wow.
Signal is better than PGP encryption, and there is no once a message is sent, there is no data. Like there's no data and FBI went to Signal and said, give me your information. Like there's no information to give you.
There is no information.
What am I going to give you? Fucking thin air?
Yeah.
There's nothing. So there's apps like that. So I use Signal all the time from if I'm talking about business related stuff, or if I'm talking about my friends around the world. I don't want people viewing.
But is this paranoia, or is this
is
like what's the level?
No, I believe there should be a barrier between what a person's allowed to see in my life.
Yeah. Even if you're not doing anything illegal?
Totally.
Because that always
gets me. That opens up the whole the Pandora's box.
Yeah.
Then what's the point of having a legal system where they can see everything? What's the point of this whole system then?
Yeah.
We're like, we seen John said something 5 years ago and we don't like him right now. We don't like him at all. We're going to use that against him.
Yeah. Yeah. To me, that's always like people always make that argument, right? Like, I have nothing to hide.
Let's talk about business. So we're talking about billion-dollar companies. Let's say when you're in that level, you're dealing with espionage. You're dealing with information is really important. Okay, since now it's everything open, I get to see exactly what's happening in your business.
Yeah.
So sabotage. Oh, the government. What the fuck? Half the senators and politicians that are on the board of companies.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, people like looking for jobs. I mean, God damn it, everything you say is there.
Now the big companies are looking at your social media profile.
Everything. Like, wow, so you party that hard all the time, or you do this? Like,
well, I'll tell you some nefarious fucking shit. So let's say John and I are talking about like, John, how you feel? Well, Ameer, I broke my leg and I don't feel good. And guess what? Maybe the insurance company's listening. Yeah. Cases like this happen. Yeah. Oh, they're listening. Oh, next thing you know, your fucking premium skyrocket, and you're wondering what the fuck?
Yeah.
What happened? What happened?
You hurt yourself. Remember you were talking about that?
Yeah.
Wow.
The new Samsung TVs, the big ones have a warning sign. Do not say sensitive shit in front of us. We are listening because it's voice activated. So yeah, I'm a firm believer in having my right of security and protection.
Yeah.
So the things that I mentioned before, Signal, VPNs, Tor, Onion, your grandmother can do it.
Mm-hmm.
There's no coding. It's like literally click. If you can buy something from an app store, you can do this.
Yeah.
And it goes a long way.
Yeah.
Like it really, and then that's why I'm a firm believer, and that's why we have the company Block Geeks, and I'm a firm believer in blockchain, where it's truly an encrypted way of transferring any information around the world. You have now, for the first time in human history, a secondary option of currency. So let's say the Canadian dollar just goes poof tomorrow, and people are like, oh, can't trust me. Anything can fucking happen.
Oh, yeah.
Anything can happen. Now, for the first time in history, John and I have a secondary option defaulted away from the fiat currency system. So whether that is Bitcoin, Ethereum, or any of these other alternative coins, we have that option. We have the option of actually creating a whole economy of around a decentralized way the blockchain is. So, like I said, technology is innate. It's not good or bad. It's depending on how you use it. But I think humans need, everybody, starting at a very young age, we need to educate our kids more on like the dangers of technology and be like, listen, this is the capabilities that it has to do this. This is the capabilities it has to do that.
Yeah.
Just so you know both sides, the dark side and the light side. And then now when you understand the capabilities of technology, you're more enlightened.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's the technology isn't good or bad, right? It's literally how it's used, but also how you use it, right?
Yes.
And that footprint sort of that you leave on it that is there forever. And now everybody's getting access to it as much as they want, which is insane. Blows my mind. But yeah, we do need education. I mean, education, I guess, will solve most of our problems.
Well, not this educational system.
No. Real education.
You know, this educational system it's a joke and a half. And there's something called sunk cost bias. It's one of the 25 cognitive biases. And obviously they're in a situation which this is sunk cost bias. It's been around for eons. And they're huge old school establishments and they're legacy establishments, and there's billions of dollars involved. So it's going to take a long time before this changes. And even people talk about, like, say, an economic crash when it comes to the financial system. Yeah, sure. We had an economic crash in 2008. Everybody got bailed out by the government. Superinflation, hyperinflation. Let's print more money. Like, look how fucked Japan is. It's negative. Negative.
Yeah.
Negative. The country's a negative inflation.
Yeah.
That tells you something. That tells you know what that tells you? That tells you they are fucking royally fucked when it's negative. Yeah. When the country has to artificially keep the prime at negative.
Yeah, it's crazy. We're not much better here.
No, we're not. They say if we go up 1%, I forget what the percentage, how many people will lose out on all their houses. Because what was it? The average Canadian male only makes roughly $1,000 a year, and this is just average. I don't know what females. I'm just talking about males from BC to Quebec, and the average Canadian family has roughly $35,000 in credit card debt.
Wow.
This isn't mortgage or loan, like credit card debt. So we're talking about like 15% up in interest. And the average Canadian family only has about $3,000 in savings.
Jeez. So we're just on the precipice of falling apart ourselves?
Yeah.
This got bleak really fast.
No. Canada's beautiful. I think we're still one of the top 5. I fucking love Canada.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it so much. There's so much opportunity here. Since the population is so low, that's such a win-win for us. Yeah. Massive win-win. We are a bubble compared to the world. Like, multicultural. Welcome to Toronto. Toronto is a fucking freak show and a half of an amazing city.
Yeah.
Like, I fucking love Toronto.
Yeah, me too.
No place on earth like Toronto. You can call other cities multicultural. No fucking way compared to Toronto. Toronto is a spa. You know, yes, there's racism. Yes, there's bigotry. But nothing compared to places I've been. Nothing at all. Everyone's mangling. Economics is good over here. Mindset is pretty good over here. So I do believe we live in our own kind of like fiefdom bubble over here. But that being said, at the end of the day, I'm a firm believer in what I said earlier is prepare for the worst, hope for the best.
Yeah.
And educate yourself. It has nothing to do with money. Like, I think the greatest power you can have is meta learning, is a power to wanting to learn. And just educating maybe half an hour of your day learning about what's really happening in the world, and not being oblivious to what's happening to you, not being oblivious to like how the government functions, not being oblivious to how, for example, just the geopolitics function. So like, just spend a little bit of time and understand how the world works.
Yeah. There's some brilliant people out there, and access to, that's like where technology becomes less sort of where it's good nor bad. It's like the access we have to information.
Yeah.
Like in any way, and like brilliant minds, like people like Sam Harris,
Huh.
putting out like
Yeah.
3-hour podcasts of just like unbelievable, valuable information, and just completely free.
I know.
You can watch the videos, like even going back to meditation. Like if there's a guided meditation I want to watch, it's going to be Sam Harris's one on YouTube.
His books are great too.
Oh, amazing! Yeah.
Sam Harris, Joe Rogan podcast. Love Joe Rogan. There's so many different people out there, and you can talk to even we mentioned Tim Ferriss's podcast, John's podcast, right?
Yeah.
So there's so many podcasts out there to listen to. But bottom line, just educate yourself.
Yeah,
that's it.
Exactly.
Cool, awesome. Well, I think we'll leave it at that. John, thank you so much.
It's been fun, man.
Yeah, man, and we'll definitely do this again. And if people want to reach you, how do they do that?
Hacktheentrepreneur.com is the best place. You can email me from there or track me down on Twitter.
Cool. Links below. All right, guys. Peace.
Take care.